Life is one day at a time.com. The topic of who started the concept of the rapture, whether it was Mary MacDonald or John Nelson Darby, is a subject of ongoing debate among theologians and scholars. The rapture itself is a belief held by some Christians that's before the second coming of Jesus Christ, believers will be taken up to heaven, leaving unbelievers behind to face the period of tribulation. Mary MacDonald is often credited with being one of the earliest proponents of the idea of the rapture. She wrote a novel in 1830 titled The Last Stages, which depicted a sudden and miraculous removal of Christians from the earth. MacDonald's work gained some attention from her contemporaries, and she is seen by some as a precursor to the modern concept of the rapture. Mary MacDonald, known for her deep religious convictions and scholarly approach, introduced the idea of the rapture in the 18th century. Her theory posed a concept of a taking away or a catching up of believers by Jesus Christ prior to a period of tribulation on earth. This event, according to MacDonald, would occur at the end of time and would signify the beginning of Christ's millennial reign. One of the primary reasons for the popularity and enduring influence of Mary MacDonald's rapture theory is the ability to provide hope and assurance to believers by suggesting that the faithful followers of Christ will be spared from the challenges and chaos of the end times. MacDonald's theory offers solace in the face of uncertainty and suffering. Moreover, it offers a concrete framework for understanding the sequence of events leading up to Christ's second coming. On the other hand, John Nelson Darby, an influential British preacher and theologian, is often cited as the main figure who popularized and developed the idea of the rapture. In the mid-19th century, Darby became a prominent advocate for dispensationalism, a theological framework that divides human history into distinct periods, each with a different set of rules and requirements for salvation. The rapture is played as a significant role in Darby's dispensationalist theory, but he expounded on the concept in many ways in his sermons and writings, and that gained popularity. While MacDonald and Darby both played a role in the development of the concept of the rapture, it's difficult to ascertain who specifically started it. MacDonald's novel, although relatively obscure today, can be seen as an early expression of the idea. However, it was Darby who took the concept and developed it further, introducing it to a broader audience and solidifying its place within dispensationalist theology. Furthermore, it's worth noting that the concept of a sudden removal of believers from the earth can be traced back to biblical texts such as 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17, where Apostle Paul writes about believers being caught up in the air to meet the Lord. This biblical support of the rapture, along with the contributions of McDonald and Darby, has led to its widespread acceptance among some segments of Christianity. In conclusion, while Mary McDonald may have introduced the concept of the rapture in her 1830 novel, it was John Nelson Darby who popularized and developed it into a significant aspect of dispensationalist theology. Both individuals played a role in the evolution of the idea, but the exact origin of the rapture remains a subject of debate. And why is that? Because it's not really mentioned in the Bible. When Paul talks about believers being caught up in the air, that, if you go back one verse, and it says, according to the trump of God, then the believers who are still left alive will be caught up in the air. It's a deep subject, but if you read the text, you'll see that the rapture theory doesn't really fly. I mean, some believe it and some don't. But study the text. Study and see what Jesus said about the end times. We'll pick this up next week as we get a little deeper into the timing of the rapture. That's the difference between the appearance of the Lord and the coming of the Lord. That's why we want to conclude too, as we continue on another episode of Life is One Day at a Time.com.
Life is one day at a time. Life is one day at a time. Life is one day at a time. Life is mercy, mercy, mercy. Life is one day at a time.